My name is Mike. Here's why you lost money with cryptocurrencies. Okie dokie, so it is the last days of March here. We're approaching into April, and as we see with Ethereum, it is plummeting. A lot of people are absolutely in a panicked state right now, so let's chat about what's been going on over the past couple of weeks and in 2017. So towards the latter part of 2017, some of these things are going to be opinion-based, by the way. So I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm just a YouTuber. I've invested in some cryptocurrencies. Some I've made money with, some I've lost money with. This is just a video I'm making. So if you want to share your opinions down below, please feel free to do so in a polite manner, but regardless, we're going to proceed. There was a lot of neophytes coming on board in November and December. They got super excited because suddenly they heard that their family members, their friends, everybody was making a bunch of money with crypto, right? They see these crazy wild stories on YouTube and CNN, Fox News talking about the latest millionaire on the block, and they get excited about it. There's this thing called FOMO, fear of missing out, and they decide, you know what, I want to buy Bitcoin. I want to buy these random altcoins that I've not studied. Some of these people have never invested in stocks before. Some of these people have never invested at all in anything. They're kids, they're teens. This is not their department of expertise. They hear something, they don't research at all. That's the first mistake. They don't research. They buy immediately and they don't know when to sell. So the second mistake is whenever you're purchasing something, whether it's a stock or a CD or a, wait, did I say CD, a certificate of deposit? Who's buying those anymore? But a cryptocurrency, there's always a limit with it, and you understand, well, I'm going to keep it for this amount of time, and if something happens, I'm going to take it out. Now, with stocks and cryptocurrencies, there's usually limits, right? So you decide, well, if the stock dips 20%, at this point I'm selling, or if the stock makes over 20%, at this point I'm selling regardless. Because usually the best way to become rich is to go about it bit by bit, the slow and steady route, instead of immediately trying to grab as much as you can. That might work for a small, definite amount of people, but for the majority, they will fail, they will become too greedy, and they will get slaughtered. So the best thing you can do is decide at the very beginning what you're comfortable with. It might be 5%, it might be 10, 20, something that's relatively reasonable. And you do not panic sell when you go negative 15 and you decided negative 25 is the price that you are willing to sell at. So let's say the market dips, oh no, everybody else is selling, you're freaking out, but before you did your research, back to point number one, and through that you decided at number two that you're only selling at negative 25. Now the third one, you are only investing with amounts you're able to afford to lose, because a lot of people are deciding, you know what, screw this, I'm selling everything, I'm maxing out my credit cards, forget about next month's rent, I want to be rich. And at this point, when you're using money that you can't really use because it's not your money, it's somebody else's money, whether it is the banks or friends, family members, wherever you took this money from, if it is not something you are 100% fully comfortable losing, then that's a problem, because what happens when the market turns around and it dips a little bit? Let's say you purchased an altcoin. Here, it is extremely easy to make a lot of money, but with the same amount of difficulty, you can also lose that amount of money very quickly for the reason of exponential factors, okay? So pretty much, if you invest into an altcoin based off of Ethereum, let's say an ICO, super hyped, you decided, woohoo, this is the one, this is the winner, or maybe you were invited into the private group, you got it, well, suddenly the price of Ethereum dips, everything else dips alongside it, so at this point, you're losing not only money due to the fact that the ICO, when it gets listed on exchanges, the coin, it decides to go down 20%, boom, that's 20%. But on top of that, Ethereum went down another 15%. So you're losing money from both aspects. Now, just as quickly, you're able to regain all those losses if suddenly Ethereum goes back up, and at its current moment, if something drastic happens with Bitcoin or Ethereum, those two are major power players. A lot of coins follow suit because a lot of people, the panic spreads, as does the excitement. So speaking of research, how do you research a project? Let's say an ICO or an altcoin. First of all, you're going to start with the team. A lot of people don't care to look into the full details and they do not properly research. So you look into the team, you thoroughly examine a lot of the main important key members, their history, the projects that they worked on in the past. For example, let's say somebody works with automotives. That's their specialty. And they decided to do an ICO on marketing. Okay, great, except the only thing is, even if they made millions of dollars with automotive companies, they don't have any marketing experience. I'm sure with some of these companies, they were able to pick up a couple skills, but if nowhere, anywhere, they have any expertise with this, and they're suddenly deciding to do a marketing company, that's a little strange. And if you look at this second person in command and third person in command, and it's all over the place, you decide, well, the team's not the one. Well, the idea may be great, but the team's not suitable to really take this project to where it should be. You're supposed to look at the team, the white paper, research what is written in the white paper and the roadmap. But not only that, examine how realistic these approaches and goals are going to be for this next year, for the next couple of years, whatever their plan is. What's the backup plan if there's suddenly a shortage of money? Are there vesting periods for the founders and people who have majority of tokens? There's also a huge factor, and that's with exchanges. So whenever a coin's losing some volume, you have to examine, well, why is it not going on other exchanges? If it's not an ERC20 token, which is the most common type of token out there, it's just based off of Ethereum. So usually exchanges are like, all right, well, this is 5 times easier than something that's brand new, that's super encrypted. And yeah, it's cool, but it's gonna take us more effort. So unless that project is super hype, which sure, there's a bunch of those as well, but you really either need some connection or already the project came attention to the exchange owners. Another mistake is that a lot of people follow their friends and their family members and people who they're emotionally attached to. And maybe that's not the worst part. A lot of people are following their emotions, they're freaking out, but this can be controlled if you planned ahead. The second bit though is a lot of these guys aren't professionals. They're not specialists in what they do. Now, in terms of cryptocurrency, for example, you're watching a YouTuber and you decide, well, this guy's not a financial advisor. But this guy has a little bit more expertise than me and most of the people I know, so I'm going to watch him, and cool. And that's, if you watch this guy and 5 more others and you start contacting bloggers and you go out of your way to learn, that's going to increase your odds of success because you look at the more successful people and you're able to learn at least the good traits off of them, hopefully. With cryptocurrencies, there's the problem that there's not a lot of people who actually understand what's going on. And even the ones that do, the markets turn around so quickly that nobody's able to predict what's going to happen next. There's a lot of financial analysts that are absolutely confused. Things have been turned around backwards, but it is more likely that you're going to make money than lose money if you go to these people that you actually decide to pay for. Pay for either in terms of time, money, or both. Driving in Mexico is one of the most hazardous things you can possibly do. I mean, just going down a straight road without any lines, of course, and the fact that the other driver is going right on the same path that you are because there's a giant boulder and crazy cracks. I've never seen that before. It is an absolute pleasure. Anyways, I wanted to end off this video with a thank you so much for watching. Please remember to invest safely. The most responsible thing is to start small, take small profits, have the same amount of rules, trust your instincts. And if you start panicking, don't look at your friends, don't look at anybody else who is huge and loud in the market, but they only really own a tiny share. Start asking the experts and even yourself. Look back at the past, what decisions you've made, what you've learned from them. Because, one of the most important things I've learned over the past year is that selling, there's never a right moment. because there's always going to be a better moment, or, oh no, I mean, if only I waited another year, because who knows what's going to happen next year, right? Maybe it's going to go up 10x. Whatever, it is what it is. You gotta keep going, don't waste too much time, and if you lost a lot of money, or if you lost some opportunity cost because there could have been more profit potential, that's fine. Use that towards your next investments, of whether it's just money or money and time because you got a new job or whatever it is. My name is Mike. Thanks so much for watching this video.